Marketing and digital media. Naked Pizza is an extraordinary concept here. If you send a complaint to Naked Pizza, you get an email, an SMS, or a phone call from the chief executive. I know he's only got 4 or 5 units, but still, from the chief executive within 1 hour. 1 hour. And he does that by monitoring every single stage of order placement, order delivery, the whole piece. Extraordinary. Martin Kubler is going to talk to us today. He's from I Consult Hotels. He'll be joined on stage by Samantha, who you saw yesterday, Samantha Wood, and Ali Sinai. Please welcome them.
Good afternoon then. Just before the eagerly awaited lunch, this then is the marketing and digital media session. So you have your restaurant, you have gone through all the pains of planning and thinking what you want and putting it all together, and there it is, all shiny and new, and people are supposed to come and eat there. So that's where marketing comes in, really, doesn't it? Only that these days, it's not just about getting your marketing people to do marketing, but really we are all in marketing these days. You are, your marketing team is, your floor managers are, and most particularly your guests, your customers, your clients are. With that background, I am very pleased to be on the stage here, joined by Samantha from the award-winning and impartial fooddiva.net blog, and Ali from Round Menu, everybody's favorite online restaurant booking website, I'm sure.
Thank you, Martin.
Thanks for coming along and joining in. And let's have a quick start and jump right in and talk about the importance of strategy and content when it comes to digital marketing for restaurants in Dubai and in the wider region. Do we need a strategy? If so, what should it be? And what role does content play? What is it that we're actually marketing here? Samantha, maybe.
I think strategy is very important, but I think it's equally important to recognize the value that social media can add to your business and to your restaurant. In this day and age, all of you here, pretty much, I can guarantee, are on some kind of social media channel. So if a restaurant chooses to engage with you, you can become a loyal customer if you're not already. Secondly, when it comes to commentary, and I have to highlight when I say commentary that it needs to be constructive, but it can help the food and beverage industry create a better dining experience. It will drive revenue for you. It will develop the restaurant scene. And it creates employment opportunities, and it's a vicious circle. And thirdly, in particular here in this part of the world, in the UAE, where when it comes to mainstream media, traditionally they lack freedom of press, whereas blogs and online, generally, social media channels, as a result, are a lot more honest in their feedback and their opinions. So you can trust them to give you a more honest and impartial view of what's happening there. So they become a little bit like a mystery shopper for you if you properly engage with them.
So fine. So these are all points of why restaurants should go into social and digital. How should they do it? Okay, what makes a good strategy for somebody who has now just opened a restaurant and is thinking about marketing and everything that comes with it? Ali.
Well, I mean, dining in itself, specifically dining out, is inherently social anyway. So, the concept of going out to eat, typically you would be going out with at least one other person, if not with a group. So I think, the concept of dining lending itself to social media and vice versa is actually very intuitive and a natural fit. So when restaurateurs and restaurant owners and marketing people are putting together a strategy, I think it makes sense to, rather than trying to go against the tide and going against the wave, it makes sense to actually harness that and ride that phenomenon. So our approach would be, have your strategy, but don't let your strategy be one-dimensional. Oftentimes we see We see a lot of restaurants have a strategy which is, okay, this is my marketing budget, this is what I'm going to be putting aside for print, this is what I'll put aside for digital spend, I'll do some Google ads, some Facebook ads, and I'm going to hire 1 or 2 social media people, maybe a PR agency, and they're just going to promote my new menu offers, and they're going to every day talk to people on social media and put promotions and offers online, and this is going to be enough to bring people in. And in terms of strategy, this is probably an important but a smaller part of the strategy. In our opinion, you've got your ambassadors out there. There's 8 million, well, again, depending on what source you read from, but between 5 and 8 million people over here. We estimate there's a 3 million native dining audience over here, and that's not even including the tourists that come into the country. Why would you not allow them to be your ambassadors? Why would you not allow these guys to use these tools available for them? Whether it's Instagram or Foursquare or Facebook or Round Menu or whatever tools that they would prefer to use, allow your diners to create your content, distribute your content, and be your ambassadors online. And your job then becomes to become, I guess, a curator, a facilitator of conversations. And
a host even, perhaps.
The host, yeah.
In the most traditional sense. Having said that, handing over control of anything really always poses a certain amount of challenges or perhaps risks. Okay, is this something how should restaurants deal with this? And especially as a blogger, I mean, you probably have thought about this before, Samantha. When it comes to, it's easy enough to say, let your audience or let your customers create the content for you. Okay, what happens if that content then is not quite according to your liking?
Well, it's about doing a little bit of market research first to identify which channels your customers are on. You can't be on everything unless you have huge resources and budgets. So identify those channels first and then start the conversations in those. But then when it comes, for instance, if you get a negative tweet about a restaurant experience, you need to make a judgment in terms of how influential that person is, in terms of how you're going to respond to it. I would encourage you to respond to every single comment where you can, because you can actually kill a lot of complaints instantly with the right response. And I would also encourage you, and I'll highlight one hotel chain here that often does that, as an example, is Jumeirah. They will retweet negative feedback as much as positive feedback, because they know that that will ultimately still encourage interest in a particular restaurant, for instance. And I know, for instance, when I've reviewed different restaurants, whether they've been good or bad, the restaurants behind them, a lot of them still choose to share those because ultimately it gives an honest opinion, and everyone knows that nothing is ever perfect. So it's a conversation. It's called social for a reason.
Right, and I think it's also about showing personality. Okay, today's sort of diner probably does not want to dine in yet another faceless place without a personality, and this also social media is great for creating or giving a restaurant, a bar, a personality that then attracts more people. As Ali already said, eating out is a social activity, and it does require a personality. Okay, having looked at now a bit of the strategy, what about measurement? I mean, we like to know, okay, what does our marketing dollar buy us? How do we go about measuring the success of or not of social media marketing?
Sure. I think before you can measure anything, it all comes back to strategy again, right? So if I set my strategy correctly and I set the parameters correctly, then I can reverse engineer backwards and measure what I'm doing. So for example, when we talk to our customers, i.e. our customers being restaurants, we deal with diners and restaurants. But when we talk to our restaurants, we tell them, well, what's your strategy for international diners? Is that your same strategy as for the native audience here? Clearly, it shouldn't be, because when you're looking at the local audience, you should be focusing more on things like loyalty, giving them reasons to continue coming back. Whereas maybe when you're looking at the international audience, you're looking at things like how to get them to come and see your destination as one of the few, 5, 10, 15 maximum destinations they can probably visit on a 10-day trip here. And that inherently has to be different. So, we partner with the likes of TripAdvisor, for example. And we feel that for the international audience, you need to do something like going with an international hub that is based on reviews and user feedback and so on. So we build a TripAdvisor interface into all our restaurant pages for diners who are coming in from England, France, Italy, wherever in the world people come from here, all over the world. In terms of measurement, once you've set that, measurement can become quite simple. You can go as granular as having things like online booking. Round Menu facilitates that, and a lot of restaurants and hotels especially have their own online booking engines. So that's quite measurable. So you can see how many people visited a site, how many people initiated a booking, how many people actually turned up versus that booking, how many phone calls you generated. I mean, this can all be measured very, very easily, through very simple tools that you can build in-house. I won't go through the technology. In terms of social media, measurement, just the one thing I'll say on this before passing over to Sam on this is, we avoid the game of, the numbers game. Like, how many likes did I get? How many shares did I get? How many? Because again, like what Sam said, you need to look at the relevance of the people who are talking. You need to talk about the relevance of someone who's tweeted, someone who's Facebooked, and you need to get engaged, relevant content. So I don't think it's enough to just buy 50,000 likes for your Facebook page. I think it's about making sure that you're engaging with the people who are likely to come and either eat at your restaurant or tell other people to come and eat at your restaurant.
Well, yeah, I know, just to add to that, really, the beauty of social media is you can track everything. As opposed to traditional PR or print advertising, there are tools out there that make it easy for you to track. So it's easy to show return on investment. I guess you're probably a bit more of an expert in that field in terms of the actual tracking.
Is it really, you see? I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? Yes, you can track everything, but the question still remains, what is the value of somebody dining in your place and uploading 5 pictures to Instagram that sort of really showcase your restaurant in a very nice light, okay? What's the value of that? And
it goes back to their influence. So whether you use a tool like Clout to measure that person or that company's influence, or whatever tool that other tools that are out there. But that is just one way of measuring how influential they are. And you can also use that tool to judge how responsive you need to be to that particular person if there's a customer service issue, for instance.
And this really is, we'll give you an early takeaway here, okay? This really is the future, okay? The focus will lie more on what is a particular diner worth, and we will start to segment diners or guests by their social worth. Is this a well-connected person? Does whatever this person say in the digital space make a lot of waves and ripples that can benefit my place? This is social currency in the making here.
Yeah, so, and just one point on that. You're actually seeing in the US, people are no longer asking for CVs. They're asking to see what a candidate's clout score is. So, I mean, that is the new currency moving forward. So we can either embrace it and join the game, or we'll actually end up losing out.
So can I just add one thing to that as well, is, if you want stats, so on Round Menu, we send about 60,000 diners to restaurants every month. And I can tell you that 75%, actually maybe a little bit over, 75% of those diners go to restaurants with a 4 or 5 star rating and above, and with restaurants that have at least 10 photos posted of their food, ambience, etc. online. I mean, take what you will from that, but what I take from that is that content does affect decision making. Social media content.
Getting into that tourist site, into the local residents site, Sam?
Well, I think it goes back to what we said earlier. You need to do some market research in terms of identifying where those audiences sit and what channels they are on. So you might choose to target local Emiratis here with Instagram, which is growing considerably and has done in the last year or so, especially since Facebook's acquisition of it. And I am seeing more locals actually using Instagram as their preferred social media channel. So that's one example. Yeah, you might find, like you said, internationally it's TripAdvisor. So it goes back to doing your research and setting your approach and strategy in advance.
Whatever it is, I think one thing that these two sides have in common, and it's also the last focus here, is that everything is becoming more and more mobile all the time. Okay? Particularly over here, where most of us have more than one mobile phone, but also international travelers do use their phones while they're here. So mobile marketing then perhaps is growing in importance, and what can or should restaurants do to tap into that market?
Sure. I mean, I guess I'll answer that by starting off with another stat. It might be interesting to the people in this room. Again, 80% of all of our bookings, and this is 80%, so just to get this number right, make their booking within 2 hours of dining. So we're talking about 80% of 60,000 people. This is the behavior through Round Menu. Yeah. And Round Menu is, we're a website, but we're also, very heavily leaning towards being, we have a very strong app presence as well. So as much as we encourage web bookings, we try to equally encourage app bookings. So when you ask about the power of mobile, one of the powers of mobile is hyper proximity, hyper location. So I'm standing with my mobile in the middle of downtown, or in the middle of JBR, or one of these populated dining locations, and I can look on a map on whether it's Round Menu, or there's plenty of other ways to do this as well, by the way. I can actually see here the 20 eating options around me. Then here's where it becomes interesting, because, okay, I've got 20 names. What do these 20 names mean to me? And this is where social media content suddenly, I've got to make a quick decision. I've got 3 friends saying, I'm hungry. I've got to make a choice. So I'm going to have a quick look at photos. I'm going to say, what does the food look like? I'm going to have a quick look at the reviews. I'm going to maybe read 4 or 5 max, but probably I'm going to look at the ratings. And then I'm going to make an emotional decision. So this is where social media becomes really powerful, is that if you've got enough content out there, it at least gives the diner the tools to make the decisions. And if you make it mobile friendly, then that location becomes much more powerful as well.
Yeah, and also to add to that, and going back to what I said about Instagram, just to give you an example how powerful Instagram as a tool can be. And I don't work for Instagram, by the way. I wish I did. But for instance, you're now seeing a number of restaurants here as well that are using it as a marketing tool. Switch Restaurant in Dubai Mall will now give you 10% off your meal if you Instagram whilst you're in the restaurant. I saw it something else similar at another pizza place the other day. Restaurants actually using it as a tool as well, because you go to a lot of restaurants here and you actually see people that are using Instagram and pointing to other people's recommendations on Instagram when it comes to different dishes and saying, I want to eat that dish. Don't give me a menu, I'm ordering from what someone else has recommended on Instagram. So if that doesn't show the value of social media, I don't know what else does, actually.
Just as a quick courtesy disclaimer before we wrap up, right? This is the reason why I hate dining with food bloggers. Food is for eating, not for tweeting. No, there is clearly a point there, and yes, this is where we're moving to. Talking about where we're moving to, what is the future? What is the future of social and digital media for restaurants here? What is, in Samantha's terms, the cronut of social media? What is the next big thing that people should pay attention to, in your opinion?
If I knew that, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Well, I mean, here's your chance now.
But all I would say is the channels may change, and I expect we're going to see huge changes, in particular when it comes to Facebook, because it's not particularly user-friendly, in my opinion, and a lot of others. But those channels may change, but they will be replaced by something else. So there will be more tools out there. So the quicker we learn how to use them and engage with them, the easier it is for all of us.
Mr. Adi?
I mean, we hope, because we've put a lot of eggs in this basket, but we hope the future is that diners will tend more towards their network recommendations rather than just general recommendations. So, you know, a lot of people right now rely on the likes of Sam because they feel they know her. Because even though they don't know her, because they follow her blog, they build an affinity with her and maybe 2 or 3, in my opinion, other people in this region. But, you know, those are kind of the people that are influential on social media. What we think is going to happen is, you know, as well as that, your own friends will become your referrers. So we hope that more tools will be built like ours that take all the different content on social media, integrate them into one place and tell us that, okay, Ali, your friends, you know, Ahmed, Naji and James have told you in the last week they've gone to this place, they've liked it and they ate this dish. And this can become my referral tool for dining.
Right, well, just to wrap up then, so social media and digital marketing is here to stay. We're building tomorrow's digital and social currency in regards to reputation, in regards to referrals. It sits well with restaurants, it being a social activity. And yes, people buy from people. People will always buy from people, and as such, the recommendations, the referrals from my digital network probably are going to be more important than guidebooks or restaurant reviews in the newspaper for today's and tomorrow's diners. Thanks a lot to both of you. Any questions at all? So far, or is everybody eager to go for lunch? I think there's one more session.
I think there's a question over there.
Yes.
Hi, thank you. That was very interesting session. Mine is not as much a question as it's a statement, perhaps adding to what you have all been saying. Can you see me from there?
I can't, there's lights in my face, but
oh dear.
I can just about make you out.
Can you just stand up and dance on the table?
You want me to stand up? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
My name is Roxana, and I'm the CEO of the Holiday Inn at Dubai Al Barsha. What I wanted to say was that what I have found is with social media, new animals coming on board, and we don't know how to get past learning them all, I have found that having a marketing department within my small business has helped immensely. And where I'm coming from is saying that before we used to have marketing done separately, and the CEOs were very busy making sure that the bottom line was coming in fast and getting stuck in the humdrum. But what I have realized is that when you have advisors who are maybe traditionalists and who do not think marketing is as important as the normal business strategy, I believe that the marketing strategy has to be in tandem with the business strategy, where the CEO is perhaps driving the marketing team to make sure that every employee becomes a marketeer, including your customer. So I just feel maybe that was
May I respond to that?
Yes, thank you.
Do I have time to respond?
It's happily flashing 0, 0, 0,
Right.
0. So
okay, I'm going to respond
I
anyway.
do, yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and respond. So thank you for that. And you have a wonderful marketing team. I think there's a young lady there. I can't remember her name. I apologize. Young Brazilian lady. So I can tell you one thing that I've just had experience of working with you guys is that as much as you empower them, in my humble opinion, to go out and make these decisions by themselves, the feeling I get from your marketing team is that the focus very much is that go do your marketing, do all the important things like print and radio, etc., and events, and make sure that you do some cool digital media stuff as well, go. And my feedback to you would be, if I may, because you've approached me with it, is I believe that it's a marketing mix and digital holds as, if not more, in my opinion, but as important a role in that mix as the others do. And I hope that, you know, over the next 6 months, year, etc., we see a little bit more, I guess, empowerment to the marketing managers to actually spend time and money on those channels as well. That's just my feedback. So, but thank you.
Excellent.
Sorry.
I think anything else? If not, yes, hang on. Do we have time for one more question?
We're being told to kill it. But
No, we're getting the tea break sign. No, we're getting waved at. So we are around off stage. You can catch us there. or you can tweet us or Facebook us or
Instagram.
Instagram us, yes. Do you take a selfie of yourself, upload it to Instagram, and tag it, right? Thank you very much.
Thanks.